On December 9th, in 2020, I was induced and gave birth to my son, Kingston, the next day, just under 39 weeks. And the reason why I was induced was progressive preeclampsia. I had high blood pressure, protein in my urine, and low platelet levels. Luckily, Kingston was healthy, but my body was sending a very clear signal. What I didn't fully understand in that moment, but deeply understand today, is this. Pregnancy is considered the ultimate cardiovascular stress test for women, and the research confirms it. Long-term data published in Circulation and the Journal of American College of Cardiology shows that women who experience preeclampsia have up to twice the risk of developing cardiovascular disease later in life, including hypertension, stroke, and heart disease. At 41 years old, my body was telling me something critically important. Now, it took more than a year for my blood pressure to return to my normal baseline. That experience changed how I seriously take cardiometabolic health today. And that's why you will see me talking about it here on the Energize podcast, bringing on experts to have the conversation, to go in depth. And it is the through line of my book, The Perimenopause Revolution. Now, because the month is February and it is Heart Health Month, also, I am recording this on Galentine's Day. So I just want you to know that we are in this together and that I have got your back. And the thing that I've learned over the years is that most women do not realize this, that heart disease kills more women than all cancers combined. Not breast cancer, not ovarian cancer, all cancers combined. And what's even more alarming, for most women, the warning signs begin years, sometimes decades, before a heart attack or stroke ever happens. Now, here's the stat that stopped me cold when I first encountered it about 5 years ago. Nearly half of women in developed countries will die of a largely preventable heart disease or stroke. That data comes from global epidemiological research summarized in The Lancet and reinforced by the American Heart Association. So we know this, right? And here's the part that still shocks people. For most of the past century, more women than men have died from cardiovascular disease. Yet heart disease is still widely perceived as a male problem. So why is this? It's because women were largely excluded from cardiovascular research until 1993. Male physiology became the default. Female biology became the footnote. Medicine failed to research women, and it's costing us because we are still living with the consequences of that gap. Perimenopause and menopause are not just hormonal transitions. They are cardiometabolic accelerators. As estrogen declines, research shows that we see increased insulin resistance, greater visceral fat accumulation, which becomes highly inflammatory, high inflammation, changes in cholesterol particle size, disrupted sleep, and cortisol rhythms. A landmark review in Endocrine Reviews shows that estrogen plays a direct role in mitochondrial function, glucose metabolism, and vascular wall protection. When estrogen fluctuates and or declines, cardiometabolic risk rises, even if your weight hasn't changed. This is why midlife matters so much. This is the metabolic inflection point, and it is the zone of opportunity, right? This is where we get to make the changes. Something that I think we've heard over and over again, but I just want to reiterate it, is that we are not small men, right? And the data proves it. Women share traditional risk factors like high blood pressure and cholesterol, but several factors are damaging specifically for women, right? We are actually different than men in a lot of ways. For instance, diabetes increases cardiovascular disease more in women than men, shown in large meta-analysis published in diabetes journals. Smoking raises heart disease risk by 25% more in women. This data is from a 2.4 million person analysis in The Lancet. Depression and anxiety are more strongly linked to heart disease in women, documented in JAMA Psychiatry. And then there are female-specific risks medicine still underscreens. Preeclampsia, gestational diabetes, PCOS, oral contraceptive use, menopause, chronic caregiving stress. These are not side notes. These are early warning signs. Women often don't experience classic chest pain as well. So we often get missed and we get misdiagnosed. Instead, what symptoms look like when we are having a heart attack or hypertension or a stroke is fatigue, sleep disruption, shortness of breath, jaw, neck, and back pain, nausea, or anxiety. According to the data published in the Journal of American College of Cardiology, women are twice as likely to receive incorrect initial diagnosis during a heart attack. And even after diagnosis, women are less likely to receive evidence-based treatments. This is why knowledge and self-advocacy literally saves lives. Now, I want to talk about the most important labs to ask for in midlife. I want to shift to what we can do to protect ourselves. And these labs help to identify long-term risk before disease develops. So core cardiometabolic labs that we want to be thinking about. And if you want to go back to my interview with Dr. Sanjay, we will link it into this podcast because he goes over labs as well. Fasting glucose, fasting insulin, hemoglobin A1C, full lipid panel. Now, advanced cardiovascular markers that can tell us a lot about what is going on and your relative risk for cardiovascular disease is going to be an ApoB, a lipoprotein little a, highly sensitive CRP, homocysteine, and fibrinogen, and also ferritin. These markers are supported by data from Circulation, JAMA, and the American College of Cardiology as strong predictors of cardiovascular risk, especially in women. Now, screenings that are worth discussing, depending on your personal and family history: a coronary artery calcium score, a carotid intima media thickness, blood pressure trends. Again, not just annual blood pressure. I will tell you that blood pressure begins to creep for many women in perimenopause and early menopause. And unless you are looking at those numbers, you won't know. And then waist to hip ratio. And when we're thinking about these two, blood pressure trends and waist to hip ratio, these are 2 of the 5 cardiometabolic lab markers that we want to be looking at, including fasting glucose, triglycerides, and HDL. And those are covered in the labs that I talked about, including the full lipid panel and the blood sugar labs. Now, these tools detect subclinical disease, not just late stage events. And that's going to be really, really important. Now, before I go any further, I want to make something really clear. I don't talk about heart health, blood sugar, or mitochondria from a place of theory alone. Heart disease runs in both sides of my family, especially on the Mexican side. And 2 years ago, this really hit painfully close to home. My sister had a stroke at 42 years old. Yes, let me just repeat that. 42 years old. No one saw that coming. And yet, when you look back, there are always signals. And because the symptoms did not look like a stroke or she wasn't sure what it is, my sister went 2 days without care. She even went to the ER and because she thought she was having an anaphylactic experience. And they did a workup for allergies and an allergic reaction and completely missed the stroke. So by the time she actually got care, it was close to 3 days after she had had the stroke, which again, this is what we're talking about. One, she didn't get a full workup. And then once she did get the workup, they didn't really do a lot for her. And, again, nobody sees this coming. And that moment changed how I think about prevention. And it made this work deeply personal because heart disease doesn't show up overnight. It builds quietly through blood sugar instability, chronic stress, poor sleep, and metabolic neglect we've been taught to normalize. That's why lifestyle medicine matters so much. Not because it's trendy, but because it's mitochondrial medicine. And that's why I did a whole freaking episode on that topic as well just a few weeks ago, because mitochondria sit at the center of cardiometabolic health. So let me show you what it looks like in real life. Let's start with number 1, optimizing blood glucose and insulin sensitivity. This is where everything starts. You want to know why I keep talking about this? This is the epicenter of your mental energy, your cellular energy, but ultimately your heart protection. One of the most common things women say to me is this: I eat pretty well, so why do I feel shaky, exhausted, and anxious between meals? Or I eat pretty well, but why do I feel inflamed? I remember a patient of mine in her late 40s who told me she felt like her energy was a roller coaster all day long. Coffee in the morning, a muffin or smoothie, crashing at 10:30, irritability, foggy, snacking nonstop. And once we shifted one thing, protein and fiber at breakfast, everything changed, right? This is where that metabolic ignition framework comes into play because we need to start to future proof our health at the beginning of our day. And what she experienced was a drop in anxiety. Her afternoon cravings disappeared. And for the first time in years, she felt steady. This isn't anecdotal luck. Research shows that insulin resistance is a primary driver of cardiometabolic disease in women, especially after menopause. And a study published in Diabetes Care found that walking for just 15 to 20 minutes after meals significantly lowered glucose and insulin spikes. Another landmark study in Cell Metabolism showed that early time restricted eating improves insulin sensitivity and blood pressure, even without weight loss. So here's what actually works and feels doable. Protein and fiber at breakfast. And actually, I've got my little gut fiber shot. I am recently obsessed with Farmer's Juice, the company, and they make juices, but they make fiber shots. And this little fiber shot, which is not that big, has 8 plants in it and has 10 grams of fiber. This is big. This is one of my favorite new hacks right now to get myself to that 30 grams of fiber. I was hanging out around 22, 23, 24, and I popped myself over the 30 grams per day by adding in these little shots. And if you want to check them out, I'm loving this, even just for the fiber shots. It's Farmer's Juice, and I'll have the link in the show notes. And this is blueberry blend. It's so good. I'm telling you, who knew a fiber shot could taste so delicious? So I'll usually do a fiber shot at breakfast. I'll do an omelet or I'll make a smoothie. I'll do yogurt with some protein powder, or I'll even do leftovers. Like this morning, I'm not gonna lie, it was steak. It was blueberries and strawberries left over from my son's breakfast. It was some carrots and I had my fiber shot, and a little bit of avocado and some olive oil. And I think I had some cherry tomatoes. I mean, it was like a hodgepodge of things, but it was protein, it was fiber, a little bit of healthy fats. And I felt full. I felt like I could function and really perform during my day. And then we want to talk about, metabolically healthy meals. And if you're looking for metabolically healthy meal ideas that include fiber, that include healthy fats, that have fiber and veggies and the color of the rainbow, I'm telling you, my book, The Perimenopause Revolution, that is where it's at. I have so many recipes, but they're more inspiration. I teach you in the book how to integrate more fiber, how to get those 30 grams of protein, give or take, at every meal, how to build this plate so that you are building resilience. And when you get the book and you plug into the bonuses, and I give you the resource link inside of the book, you're going to get another 50 plus recipes to make it so easy to do. So balancing your meals with metabolically healthy foods, a gentle 12 to 14 night overnight fast. Again, have dinner and then close that kitchen until the next morning, and movement after meals. This isn't about restriction. It's about giving you mitochondria resilience and mitochondrial capacity. This is clean, stable fuel. Next is prioritize resistance training. You and I both know that muscle is not optional in midlife. I want to normalize something for you. A lot of women tell me, I walk every day, but I'm still gaining weight. Walking is incredible. It is a nervous system regulator. It allows you to listen to great books and talk to your friends, but muscle is your metabolic safety net. It is your metabolic and longevity currency. One woman I worked with recently was avoiding weights because she thought they were intimidating. She didn't know where to start. And here's the thing, you start small. 2 days a week, basic compound movements, weights that feel challenging but empowering. I'm talking about squats, lunges, presses, bicep curls, rows, just, keeping it super simple. And again, inside of the book, I give you an entirely built out beginner program with videos all done. And if you want to take it to up a notch, I have an intermediate program with descriptions and everything that you need to get started. I want to make it done for you so that you don't have to second guess what you're doing and you can just get started. So we started small, just again, 2 days a week. And within months, her fasting insulin dropped, her body composition shifted, her confidence skyrocketed. And it was simple enough to be consistent and sustainable. And the science backs this up too, right? A study published in Cell Metabolism showed that resistance training increases mitochondrial content and function even in older adults. Another long-term analysis in the American Journal of Medicine found that the loss of muscle mass is strongly associated with increased cardiometabolic risk and mortality in women. This isn't about lifting heavy for ego. It's about building metabolic infrastructure that protects your heart for many, many years to come. Because again, what this is about, it's about protecting your resilience so that you don't have to negotiate with yourself about what you have bandwidth, energy, and capacity for as you get older. Next is eat enough protein. And I feel like we just covered this, right? This is where a lot of us unknowingly fall short. I cannot tell you how many food logs I reviewed over the years, looking at these logs, and I see lots of vegetables, I see lots of healthy foods, but barely 66 grams of protein total for the day. And I had a patient tell me just a couple weeks ago, like I didn't realize how underfueled I was until I stopped feeling like I needed caffeine to survive. Protein isn't about dieting. It's about cellular repair and energy production. Research published in the Journal of Applied Physiology shows that higher protein intake preserves lean muscle mass and metabolic health as we age. Again, we also need to, not only turn that protein into cell structures, but we need to turn it into muscle. So we do need to lift those weights. And studies in the Journal of Nutrition demonstrate that adequate protein intake reduces cardiometabolic risk in midlife women. So a simple target that works for most women is 30 to 40 grams, especially morning and evening. So breakfast and dinner, and just fill in the rest throughout the day. Your mitochondria rely on amino acids to function properly. This is fuel, not excess. This is cellular structuring. This is helping to support and repair DNA damage. I mean, your essential amino acids are doing so much more than just building muscle. They're protecting your brain. Next, walk daily and reduce sitting. I don't know how often I can say this, but movement is a signal to your cells. Movement is life. And to be honest, even during my most depleted season, walking was the only movement that felt accessible. And so if this is where you're starting and you're like, I just need to start somewhere, walk and walk after meals. That's what matters, because movement doesn't just burn calories. It tells your mitochondria we need energy, stay online. Research published in diabetes showed that physically inactive downregulated mitochondrial function and insulin sensitivity drops. So we know that physical inactivity is going to downregulate your metabolic health. And a large analysis in the Lancet found that even low intensity movement improves cardiometabolic markers when done consistently. You do not need perfection. You need 7,000 steps per day, walking after meals, fewer long sitting stretches. Get up and move your butt, even if it means walking around your house or going around the block. Start building your life around movement. This is one of the most powerful yet underestimated tools for heart health and for your resilience. Now, almost lastly, it's going to be sleep. Sleep is mitochondrial repair, right? In real time, especially in perimenopause. I want to say this gently but clearly. If you're chronically sleep deprived, your body can't heal. It's in a state of inflammation. I have lived this. When my sleep was fragmented, everything felt harder. My mood, my metabolism, my resilience, my brain function. I think that's the thing that hit the hardest. Classic research published in The Lancet shows that even short-term sleep deprivation impairs glucose metabolism. I think if you have like less than 5 hours of sleep 4 nights in a row, you are on the verge of prediabetes. More recent research in Nature Communications confirmed that sleep is when damaged mitochondria are cleared and repaired. So sleep is not passive, right? It's cardiovascular maintenance. So aim for 7 to 8 plus hours, consistent bedtimes and sleep times, morning sunlight, reduce nighttime light. Your heart depends on it. I have episodes fully devoted to sleep. If you want my full circadian optimization protocol, it's in the book as well. It's a great place to start. Number 6 is going to be, this one's probably the hardest one for many of us, which is mastering. I don't know, can you really master stress, but really mitigating stress? Because cortisol is a glucose hormone. It co-elevates insulin and overeating when it's out of control. And I see this pattern constantly, especially in caregivers, mothers, and high-achieving women. You're holding everyone together and your body is paying the price. Research in the Journal of Stress shows that chronic physiological stress increases cardiometabolic risk through cortisol-driven insulin resistance. And studies in the psychoneuroendocrinology shows that breath work and mindfulness improve glucose regulation and inflammatory markers. And let me tell you, I have seen this in continuous glucose monitors across the board. When we are in a high stress state, I will see more glucose variability, so up and downs and big swings. But when you are implementing mindfulness, walking, breath work, then we have more stable blood sugar throughout the day. And the beautiful thing is, it doesn't require an hour a day. It can be walking, it can be breathing, it can be just pausing. It can be sending your bestie, which today is a great day to do that now that it's Valentine's Day, sending your bestie a voice memo. A regulated nervous system protects your heart. A safe body is cardiometabolic protection. Number 7 is strategic nutrient and supplement support. Hey, I want lifestyle to be enough, right? Lifestyle medicine equals mitochondrial medicine. I am a big believer in pulling those levers first and foremost. But mitochondria require micronutrients to do their jobs. And often we are a bit depleted depending on the life that we've been living. So my non-negotiables are going to be magnesium. I love magnesium glycinate, and I carry one in my Essentially Whole store. It's called Magnesium Restore. Activated B vitamins, so methylated B vitamins, especially if there's any, COMT gene mutation or MTHFR mutation. Omegas, I'm typically recommending 2 grams of omegas every day. Vitamin D somewhere along the lines of 4,000 IUs. Research published in Open Heart links magnesium deficiency to insulin resistance and cardiovascular disease. And studies show that CoQ10 improves mitochondrial and cardiovascular function. Supplements don't replace lifestyle. We all know this, but they can remove some bottlenecks and make things a little bit easier. And there's other ones that I love as well, right? There's some really great ones. I love MitoQ. I love urolithin A that Timeline makes. I love a good NMN precursor. And then another thing that I love specifically for blood flow and circulation that I literally have at my desk at all times is Berkeley Life, their Nitric Oxide Foundation. And they also have a brand new menopause and heart health supplement that I also take. I take one of each. And the reason why I am an ambassador to this company, this is the menopause and heart health support if you're on YouTube, is because we need cardiometabolic support. I know that when estrogen declines, we have vascular compromise. And as a result, we lose our nitric oxide levels. And nitric oxide is a vitality molecule. It's what allows perfusion into our cells. It allows for our mitochondria to function. If we don't have good blood flow, I mean, we're in a bad place. So again, I love the non-negotiable supplements, including probiotics, but I also love having really powerful mitochondrial support supplements like Qualia stem cell and like urolithin A and MitoQ and some of the other great ones out there that are specifically focusing on cleaning up mitochondria and driving mitochondria biogenesis. And then hormone support when appropriate. This is individualized and powerful. You need to have a conversation with your doctor about what is going to support you. When it comes to hormone replacement therapy, there's no one size fits all. Estrogen directly influences mitochondrial biogenesis. I mean, are we surprised? Glucose metabolism, vascular, and brain health. Research in endocrine reviews confirms estrogen's role in mitochondrial energy production and antioxidant defense, especially in the brain. And the data from the New England Journal of Medicine shows that appropriately timed hormone therapy can improve cardiometabolic outcomes in many women. And when they mean appropriately timed, they're talking perimenopause or early menopause, right? We're talking about prevention, not a reactive medication solution. This isn't about one solution as well. It's about informed choice and what is right for your body. So where do we start? I think this is super important because I've shared a lot of things that we can do, that you can do literally this week. Between my own experience, my sister's stroke at 42, even my uncle at 60 years old just had a second stroke and heart attack last week. And the women I work with every single day, this is what I know for sure. Heart disease doesn't start with a heart attack. It starts with years of ignored signals. Midlife is not the end of the story. It's the moment where you get to decide how the rest of your life unfolds. This is your window of opportunity. This is your cardiometabolic inflection point. We're talking one habit, one choice, one clear message to your cells. I am here, I am listening, and I'm choosing longevity. And if you're listening right now and thinking, okay, but where do I actually start? I want to make this so simple. Your first step is not to do everything. Your first step is to get curious about your signals. For the next 7 days, notice just one thing. How do you feel 1 to 2 hours after you eat? Do you feel steady or shaky, tired, foggy, anxious, or craving sugar or coffee? Then choose one small action. Add protein and fiber to your breakfast. Take a 15-minute walk after your biggest meal, that's typically dinner, or 5 minutes of movement in your house. It doesn't have to be a walk. It can be exercise snacks. It can be going up and down your stairs. It could be vigorously cleaning your kitchen and living area, or go to bed 30 minutes earlier. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this one has been a game changer. I've been going to bed earlier these last month or so, and my sleep and recovery scores have been skyrocketing. I thought I only needed so much sleep. Come to find out, I need more. So again, maybe move your clock back a little bit when it comes to sleep. And that's it. Because when you stabilize blood sugar, you're already protecting your heart, your brain, and your metabolism at the cellular level. We're talking cellular energy. One of the reasons why I wrote the Perimenopause Revolution is because women are being told about heart disease far too late, after the warning signs have already been dismissed or normalized, or they've been completely missed altogether. This book is about catching those signals early before insulin resistance, inflammation, and metabolic dysfunction quietly turn into cardiovascular disease, because that's how it is. That's how it starts, and that's how it progresses. If you want to understand what your body is asking for in midlife and how to dramatically improve your health span, not just your lifespan, this book, The Perimenopause Revolution, will walk you through it step by step. It's not fear-based, it is empowering, and it's all about implementing the small things that will that will literally make the biggest shifts. That's what I'm interested. I want the wins. I want the wins that add up and compound so that I am living my best life in my 70s. And the beautiful thing is, this book is rooted in the science, because I wouldn't have it any other way. Yeah, you'll find the link in the show notes, but it is drmariza.com/book. And remember, it never needs to be perfect. You just need consistency, and you need to build on that momentum. Start there and you are good to go. Now, if there's anyone in your life, if you've got family members or cousins or coworkers or women in your life that are, seeing some signs of cardiometabolic disease or are having indicators like creeping blood pressure or lipid labs are going out of range, please share this episode with them. This is the information that we need to get out into the world so that women know how to advocate for themselves and know the steps to take to feel more resilient. And I hope to see you in the next episode. Until then, happy Galentine's Day. Well, I know that it's not Galentine's Day when this goes out. I don't remember exactly the date it goes out, but I'm just saying we could double celebrate. This is going to come out like a week later, but I'm just celebrating you today, and it's always a pleasure. So have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for watching. Now, if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments. And if you are ready to learn more about perimenopause and how to navigate with a lot of ease and grace, be sure to subscribe to this channel so that you can join our community. Don't forget to share this video with someone that you love, that you know is navigating the perimenopause journey as well, because they deserve to feel their best too. See you in the next video.